If you're thinking of using black salve, warning, the statement from the medical universe and from independent testing is that black salve is indiscriminate as far as cancer treatment, meaning it just attacks cells wherever you apply it. Now, never trust, always test an assertion. On one end, you have a person saying that it's a miracle cure and it doesn't matter what cancer you have, it is exclusively going to attack cancer. And it has a long history and a proud history, and it's got mythical properties. Okay. The Black Salve Challenge. If you buy the stuff, don't buy it expensive. If you find instructions how to make it, also, as a test, make some, because you can. Arrange with an herbalist in the area that dead-ass believes in this crap to invest in doing this experiment as well. Try not to spend any money on it, because you don't want to give any profit to people who are lying to you or potentially damaging you. Find tanned leather. That's the skin of an animal that's been given a preservative layer. From every individual different type of animal you can find. Find tanned chicken skin that might exist. Put them in a layer that's the same thickness. Try to get a leather expert to split them to the same depth. Lay them out one by one, clearly labeled, on that date in a strip. Put it on a 2x4. Make them the square that'll fit on, like 2-inch by 2-inch ones, put next to each other. As many different hide materials as possible from different animals. That's the important thing. And then right below it, from the same animal, only do it if you can get the same animal, get a fresh layer of skin from a butcher shop or wherever source right under it. If you're one of these people who does not believe in doing any experiment if it involves hurting animals, I understand that, but the leather's already been produced and the animal has already been butchered, so shut up. We're doing a test to see what this does. Do not apply this crap to your skin. You have one fresh tissue layer that was immediately gone. Go over the surface of it and sterilize it with something to make it to where it doesn't have any bacteria on it. Put that on one board. Same lineup. Do another lineup where you don't sterilize it if you want to, and another one where you dehydrate it. So you have desiccated, sterilized, natural, and tanned leather from each of these animals. This means you have to find basically cow, pig, sheepskin, that sort of thing. Now, take the black salve and put it in a dollop in the middle of each of these ones. You're going to have to use some. And use the treatment regime that would be used to cure cancer. Now, please understand that none of these have living cells in it. The characteristic about cancer is not the shit you've been told. It's that it keeps growing. By definition, if it's dead cell layer, it can't grow. We've eliminated the ability of this material to have any cancer to go after because none of the cells, by definition, can be cancer because they're dead. But if you believe that it will attack cancer cells exclusively or preferentially and would never attack a healthy cell, why the hell is it eating the leather or the sheepskin that's been recently harvested or the stuff that's sterilized? Get rid of every excuse. Hell, fry some of it. Pork rinds. Have I wasted your time? Have I made it to where you have to be a cognitive dissident with your cognitive dissonance, where you cannot allow yourself to be proven wrong about your presumption that you can cure your incurable cancer because you know you're going to die? When a person finds out that they have a medical treatment, a medical problem that cannot be treated and that there's really nothing anybody can do about it due to some circumstance, which I cannot even go into, this would take too many videos. There's almost always a way around this if you want it to exist by just deciding you're going to ignore the doctors. And you know what happens when people are told you can't cure that? Sometimes they actually do cure it. They find a way to cure it, and we use that. Medical science is based on being proven wrong and us absorbing the right answer. It is not ego-based, or it shouldn't be. It used to be exclusively ego-based. Science-based medicine forces the medical system because it's not one person with one ego. It's millions of people with different egos, and a lot of them are competing with each other, sort of like capitalism, to try to find the best and most useful treatments. And this has a way of kind of eventually filtering out all the bullshit methods. Black salves do not kill just cancer. This is something that's been demonstrated using actual experiments. And unfortunately, the experiments were done by the snake oil salesman selling you the shit and you were the guinea pig. A shit ton of people eventually get out of their delusion about this. Now, again, if you have an incurable brain cancer and decide you're going to hit it with X-rays or gamma rays, and you don't turn on the Hulk and you cure it, that's called adding another possible cure method. Most cancers are treatable to the point that you can cure over 80% of them now. Long-term, real treatments. You have to keep fighting it because whatever caused it in the first place may be something that continues happening due to genetic damage or maybe the environment. Obviously, we should remove these causes. Black salve does not cure cancer for two reasons. One, most of the people are so desperate that they would literally experiment with drilling a hole in their head. The movie Pi comes to mind. To get rid of the cancer. Are terminal and have a confirmed cancer. The majority of people who use black salve, and I mean this dead ass, the majority of people who have black salve treatments that they use don't have a diagnosed form of cancer of any kind. They're doing unnecessary, butchering of their bodies. And then afterwards, sometimes they come to their senses and realize, I did something bad to myself. No, someone exploited your fears. Some asshole. So all you have to do is this test. And of course, homeopathy and whatever will say, well, of course it eats dead cells. Because cancers are dead cells or something. No, this is a real test. You can also test it on leather, other types. Fake leather, plastic, cloth, paper, wood. Is there a really significant difference between its behaviors? Or is it just a chemical reaction that destroys organic material slowly? Finally getting a person in Portland, Oregon to stop destroying parts of her anatomy and go in and be diagnosed as having actual dead-ass melanoma that was easily treated instead of basically burning holes in her skin. And 50 skin grafts later, she's healthy. And she literally dead-ass had to hire a person to monitor her so she doesn't get stuck in a mental and emotional loop anymore, so she doesn't destroy herself. This is self-mutilation. This is self-harm. You're not curing a cancer. And again, the majority of people who use this shit do not have a diagnosed form of cancer. Some soothsayer says, you have cancer, use my treatment. The people who sell you this shit don't give a fuck if you die. That's it. That's the first half of the video. Somebody had a multi-level marketing fraud front company put together in order to avoid FDA rules and regulation, got shut down by the FDA in 2003. The owner got a prison term. He claimed he was convicted because someone shipped a fake product under his trade name and he was being blamed for it, offered no evidence of it. Meanwhile, his company literally marketed shit like I just talked about that does not work and has been tested in ways even more complicated than I just told you about and keeps lying about it being a cancer cure. And this is important. The lies the guy does are so blatant that it'll run away anybody who thinks critically about it and attracts people who are really desperate, don't give a shit, or are really desperate to solve a problem they are perceiving. And again, the absolute majority of these people do not have a diagnosed form of cancer, much less a cancer that is considered incurable. These are people who are, in some cases, perfectly healthy individuals with nothing wrong with them. That's the only reason they don't die from it, is they are healthy enough to tolerate basically having a hunk of tissue taken out of them. It's done slowly. Anyway, after a parole in 2006, he didn't show up to a required visit at one point. He claimed a medical condition in April 2004, but refused to provide any corroboration for it, or didn't anyway. He was declared as a fugitive of justice in the same year. And in June of 2008, he was in Ecuador because they gave him permission to, at one point, to leave the country, which is dumb. The guy, if you're a multi-level marketing scammer and a snake oil salesman, you don't get parole. I'm sorry, you don't get parole. But if you do get parole, don't let the guy leave the country. Anyway, December 2009, he was arrested for illegally selling snake oil products in Ecuador by the Ecuadorian government. Why? He was declared a fugitive after he left for Ecuador. And Anyway, he got a hearing December 2009 and was extradited from Ecuador. And the company had been shut down by the Ecuadorian government because even they don't want the snake oil. His significant mother wrote a conspiracy theory persecution complex rant about on his behalf on a website, whale.to, which is notorious for this kind of crap going on, appealing to the drama llamas, not talking to anybody who could actually get him out of the jail or giving a reasonable explanation about nothing. No. While he was being hauled away, his wife did salesmanship and claimed, "We're being persecuted for telling the truth." May 2010, he was sentenced to 24 months probation in prison. No, he was sentenced to prison because he violated the probation period and he was held for the entire period of time. He was supposed to be locked up for a very long period of time, but he got probation and then fucked himself over. He could have been a free man, but he chose deliberately to go to another country, do the same thing that got him in trouble in the first place, and then refused to come back to the United States and gave a bullshit medical excuse, conveniently forbidding him from doing any form of travel that would have resulted in him just going in and saying, "Hi, I'm here," and then turning around and walking back out. Well, they might arrest you. They might arrest me if I go back to the United States. Yeah, because you're breaking the same fucking rules, but you're doing it in Ecuador, so maybe they wouldn't have cared. He returned to Ecuador after it was over with and restarted his BS online, selling his crap. Zinc chloride enhanced black drawing salve from sanguinarine, otherwise known as bloodroot, Cansema, causes escharotic cancer treatment style scarring. Doesn't actually solve anything. It's a fake cancer cure that attacks and kills human skin tissue, regardless of the presence of cancerous growth, or maybe even if it's alive or not. The person who commented today on the video I had before about this kind of subject matter, I was just talking in the video as a rant, subscribes to the Next News Network and the Rapture Puzzle 2012 and Jubilee 2017 predictive programming, the world's coming to an end video channel and websites that are all invalid because the world was supposed to come to an end in 2012, 2017, 2016, every single year. When you're so lazy, you won't even update your website's links to all your fake pages. Renee M., it's a person I've debunked a dozen times, subscribes to this lady. Or are they part of some sort of conspiracy theory network? So he showed up and posted his spam. Your video, WAPTech, came out 4 months ago, I guess. I just found out about it this afternoon. I've done videos on the subject matter. You're not important here. By the way, I posted a bunch of data under that so you can go read. You have factual misstatements. I'd have to spend hours compiling a rebuttal. I've done this a dozen times in the past on my first spam site. I'm editing here. WAPTech is a lowlife and it doesn't deserve a response. But you posted it anyway because you don't get very many views either. 90% of this is refuted with my self-made 2004 documentary evidence on my second spam site he's posted. Again, I'm inserting my commentary here. By the way, my name is Redacted. The entirety of this video was an attack on me personally. I'm telling people how to test your products so they can tell everybody how it worked and maybe post a rebuttal to you. Now everybody's against you that used to be a customer. Unless somebody is really, really trying hard to ignore evidence that they see with their own eyes and a test they can do in their own home, you're fucked. And I want to point out something very important here. Yes, someone's going to say they did this experiment and it had positive results and they know it works. But you can't make everybody shill for you. I have extensive biographical information about myself at my third spam site. If anybody does think anything in this video has merit, they can always write me and send me at his email. I can handily refute his content. For the record, I have no earthly idea who this WAPTech is. Never heard of him. However, it's obvious that he was put up to be a shill by the normal medical science-based medicine thing. Or if he isn't a doctor himself. You're accusing me of being a doctor. I'm being accused of being a medical shill or a literal doctor. No, I just do science experiments and find out whether or not I'm fooling myself. You don't. I'm not going to spend time investigating this creature. I'm a critter. Incidentally, black salve The object of much of this disdain in this rant has been successfully used to treat cancer for more than 500 years. No, it hasn't, because we didn't know it was cancer 500 years ago. Good day.